Hey friends, Rachel here, and I'm on my Holy Priest Raban. So I'm on my Shadow Priest Raban right now to talk to you about leveling up as Holy and how to manage gear sets and getting gear as Holy. So this video is for beginners, people that maybe are just starting to level up or have just hit 120 and want to start getting gear for Holy. It's a bit of a process, so I wanted to share some of the things that I learned as I was gearing up and leveling up, and hopefully this can help you as you're going through that same process as well. So when it comes to leveling up and getting to 120, I leveled up using Shadow. That seemed to work out for me. Leveling as Holy is terrible. I also tried leveling a little bit as Disc, and it didn't quite do the damage that Shadow did. So Shadow is a really powerful spec right now, and I would definitely recommend if you're going through solo content or if you're in a small group and you're trying to get through quests and go through the zones and open up the flight paths and stuff like that, definitely go Shadow for that. It just makes more sense. It's going to make everything quicker and easier. And then when you get to level 120, what you're going to want to do is do the world quests. So world quests are a great source for beginner level gear. Going through the different zones and picking out, okay, you know, here's a belt, that's improvement. And I'm actually going through that process on my druid right now, my resto druid. So I'm just going around and trying to find things that are improvements, going and doing the world quests. They are soloable. They're oftentimes take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do, and they're really quite easy. And then make sure that you also look at the emissary quests. Now, for sure, there are some times when emissary quests are like worthless, and there are some times when it's really good. So yesterday was all 385 pieces of gear, and so I completed all 3 emissary quests yesterday, but I would recommend going in and checking those every day to see if there's something that maybe has a higher level piece of gear that you can get. As your gear level increases, your eye level increases, those rewards are going to become higher as well. So even though you see 355s here in the world quests, my emissary quests give 385s for my typical emissary quest. So that can be worthwhile depending on the pieces that you have, and those only increase as you increase your eye level. So as far as gear sets go, I do have a Holy set and I have a Shadow set. So let me switch back over to Holy for you. And I will show you how I manage my gear sets. So now I'm in Holy, but I'm still wearing my Shadow gear set, which for some reason is showing as eye level 357, which is totally not correct, but that's okay. We'll go with it. LVU, I just had a major update yesterday and they added all this stuff in, which is really cool. So I'm happy with the change, but they need to get their algorithm right. Okay, so on this last tab here, you'll see Equipment Manager. And this lets you set up gear sets. So basically, you put on the gear that you want from your bag. So I've got my, Holy stuff down here. I've already got my set up, but I'll just show you how it works. So, I would put on the pieces that I want to put on for my Holy set, like this. And then I would just save this set as Holy. But because I already have a set, I could just click Equip. So here's my Shadow set, and here's my Holy set at the click of a button. So it makes it transitioning between those really easy. Getting in and out of the different gear sets as you are going between dungeons or going between PvP or world quests or whatever you're doing, it makes it really easy. One of the other things that will help you as you're leveling is LVUI has this down here, but it may be in a different spot for you, or you may not have it, but this is really helpful. So it shows what spec you're in and then also what loot you're getting. So for example, if I was in Shadow but I still wanted to get Holy loot, so I'm building my Holy set, what I can do is I can right click on my name and select my loot specialization. So for example, if I was in Shadow, I could select Holy, and then this would show a Shadow icon and then a Holy loot icon to show me that even though I am in Shadow right now, I am going to be getting gear from world quests and emissaries and mythics and whatever else I'm doing as though I were in Holy. and that is the way that I have essentially set up my gear sets. So that loot specialization has allowed me to build essentially 2 different gear sets. Kind of, there's definitely a lot of overlap, but 2 different gear sets that I can use for different purposes. So yesterday when I went out and was doing my emissaries, I was in Shadow, except for in certain circumstances. So some of the world quests, for those of you with war mode on, you know that it can be extremely challenging sometimes, right? As we go through and, you know, the area is swarming with the other faction and you can't get to the quest giver and it takes forever. So typically in those cases, I will actually go in as holy. Like if I know that there's going to be a point of contention. Yesterday we were killing Alliance in Dressvar. Going into that, I went in as Shadow. I got killed multiple times, and so I decided to go in as Holy, at least for the survivability, to try to get to the quest giver. So there are rare instances in war mode where you would want to go in as Holy, and that's what I do, but it's not very typical. So as far as leveling up goes, leveling up your eye level and getting gear, my recommendation would be definitely to start with the world quests and the emissaries. As we talked about here, I did mythics for quite some time, and to be honest, the gear that I got from there was not great. It did help me improve my eye level, but it took so much time, and I was dependent on the weekly chest to get gear because the gear drops are so terrible in mythics that it just wasn't worth it for me, because like it would be like 3 or 4 weeks in a row to get shoulders. Like I can't tell you how many pairs of shoulders I've disenchanted. It just wasn't worth it. So I definitely focused here first, and then, you know, luckily for us, if we're doing PvP, we can get the conquest rewards, so we can get our, you know, weekly conquest, we get the piece, and then we also get the chest on top of that as well. For mythics and people that are doing PvE, there is the Titan Residuum, which you can use. The last time I checked that, and again, I don't do mythics or anything like that, so last time I checked, it was a lot of Titan Residuum that you needed to be able to get a piece that you could actually choose. So that may or may not be worthwhile depending on where your eye level sits. I would also recommend doing war fronts. Actually, the quest for the war fronts tends to give a high level gear reward, so I would definitely recommend that as well. I got a lot of pieces out of that when I was leveling up, and continue to get some pieces from there for my Shadow set as I try to build that up as well. So that gives you an idea of how to level as Holy Priest, how to get gear when you hit 120, and I hope that was helpful to you. So with that, this is Raban the Holy Priest signing off, and I'll see y'all soon. Have a great day.